This is going to be a tutorial on reamping using PodGo, and I'm going to try to keep this short, hopefully under 10 minutes. So what is reamping? Reamping essentially means being able to record your amped guitar as well as your clean guitar, and then being able to take that clean guitar signal, put it through your amp again from your recording software. So ReAmp literally is exactly how it sounds like. You're reamping your signal after you have recorded it once, both your original FX signal as well as your clean signal. So if you see the PodGo's USB input outputs, if you connect your PodGo using the USB cable, your recording software is going to have 4 channels on both the inputs and the outputs. On the input, the USB input 1 and 2 is the channel which has the FX. Your guitar signal goes into PodGo, goes through all the FX nodes, and then comes out on USB 1 and 2 input and goes to your recording software. And at the same time, if you also add USB inputs 3 and 4 into your recording software from PodGo, it's also going to take your dry signal and record it into that track using input channels 3 and 4. When you want to do a reamp, you take another track in your recording software and you set the output of that track to USB output 3 and 4. And what happens at that point is whenever your recording software does playback, the signal is sent through output 3 and 4 back into the PodGo through all the FX loops and then back out through USB 1 and 2. So that's essentially how you reamp on PodGo, and it's sounds complex, should be easy once you see it done in a recording software or the DAW. So I've got Reaper open on my screen over here, and the way this is set up right now, it's got this is running on a Mac, and it's got both the PodGo and the M4 audio interface as the aggregate device. So what that means is I can use the inputs and outputs of PodGo. At the same time, I can use the inputs and outputs of the M4. Normally what would happen if you don't have a separate interface, or if you're on Windows and you're not doing a fancy ASIO routing, you'll basically just have the output also go through your PodGo. And so what that means is you just need your speaker, whatever you're using to listen, your headphones connected to the PodGo. In my case, I'm going to have my output come through the audio interface so that it makes cabling easy for me. So let's jump into reamping. In reamping, what you really want to do is just have 4 tracks, and let's look at what those 4 are. You start with the first track, which is your original signal with the FX. That's the signal that you'll get when you're playing through the PodGo and it's going through the FX loop. And if I arm this, what I want to do is I want the input set to PodGo 1 and 2. So remember, PodGo 1 and 2 input is what is sent through your guitar in to the PodGo FX loop and out to USB inputs 1 and 2. So this is the original track with the FX enabled. You set up another track, let's call that original clean. And this one is going to be inputs PodGo 3 and 4. So remember, your 3 and 4, you're doing a guitar into your PodGo, it's going straight into USB inputs 3 and 4. And so when I record this, if I record this, it's going to record the FX sound over here. It's going to record the clean guitar sound on this track. We're going to add another track. We're going to call this ReAmp Send. And what this track does is it's supposed to send whatever you have recorded, your clean channel, clean sound, back to PodGo. And we'll see that in a moment. But what you want to do with this track is go down to route in Reaper. In other softwares it might be different, but all you want to do is change this send, remove this. We don't want it sending to the audio channel, and add a hardware output. and your hardware output would be pod go output 3 and 4. So again, if you see the diagram, anything from your software sent over USB output 3 and 4 can go back to pod go through all the effects and come back on USB input 1 and 2. And then finally, I'm going to add another track, which is ReAmp FX, and let's fix that. And this is the channel that's going to receive the recorded reamped sound once we are doing the reamping. We'll leave this on for now. We'll leave the recording armed off for now. To make life simpler, you don't need to add all of these 4 tracks every time you want to do reamp. What you can do, at least in Reaper, is have a track template. So what I've done is I've added a new track, and I'm going to add all of these as sub tracks, and I'm going to just call it reamping guitar, and I can go ahead and save this track as a template. Now I already have a couple of templates over here, so I'm not going to save it, but you can name this whatever you want and then save it. And what this allows you to do is, suppose you are starting from scratch, you can just go into Reaper, right click, insert track from template, and use one of the templates. Just use this one, and you'll see that this one is already got 4 tracks, and I'm going to arm these two, and you'll see that this one has input 1 and 2 for the effects, input 3 and 4 for the record. Let's set the metronome on, record 4 bars. Right, and just going to loop this for now for convenience. But what you'll see is it's recorded 2 tracks at the same time. Let's remove the arm on this. The first track is the track with the effects, and this was playing through A30 Fawn Brit. It's going in through the guitar. If you click on this first node, you'll see that it was taking input from the guitar. You have the option to go to USB 3 and 4. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's what the recorded what it sounds like when it's going through the effects. This is what the clean sounds like. All right, so let's mute this one for now because I don't want the clean sound, and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this to the send. Now you could have sent this directly through this channel, but this is just convenient from a management perspective. So if I play this, nothing's going to happen right now because, oh, well, let's mute this. It's not going to have any sound because all it is doing is it's sending this track, the sound, into the pod go. But right now the pod go is not set up to receive on USB 3.4. It's set up to receive on guitar. So let's change the model over here. Let's go to Brit Plexi and go to that first node again. Still set up to take input from guitar. If you don't change this, it's not going to give any sound. So change this over to USB 3 and 4. Arm this track. Again, you want this to be pod go inputs 1 and 2. If you don't change this, again, it's not going to take the recorded sound. And now when I play this, that's the Brit sound versus the original track. And what you can do is in this amp mode, reamp mode, you can play it and you can change the parameters and it's going to affect the sound live. So you can set it up to whatever you like. this and play it out. And once you're happy with the sound, you can click on record. The arm track is going to record. And you've got your reamped sound done. Now, if you play this, you'll see that both the tracks have an effects. You've got a reamped effects, you've got the original effects. And if you want to be creative, what you can do is you can pan this to all the way to the left, pan the reamped effects all the way to the right, and you've essentially got a double tracked guitar with two separate amp sounds. Plus, you retain your clean signal as part of the track. If you ever wanted to reamp this again, you can always do that. A couple of things to remember. Whenever you change this to USB 3 and 4, you're going to have to save this as a patch, or you're going to have to do this whenever you want to do the reamp signal. If you change this back, change the patch and then come back, it's going to go back to the whatever was saved in the patch. So always remember, if you're not hearing a sound, check a couple of things. Check if your input on the pod Go is set to USB 3 and 4. Check if you're sending the routing to the hardware on output 3 and 4 of the pod Go, and the new track that you want to record in should be armed and taking input from pod Go input 1 and 2 if you're not hearing the sounds. So that's it for the reamping. A bit longer than 10 minutes, but hopefully this helps you guys out. Thanks for watching.